Okay, this is going to be on equations of lines and introduction, and then we're going to do equations of lines through a point and the slope. This is our slope formula. We've already discussed that, and we have it in our ISM. And we'll talk about that stuff another time. We're going to do the ISN later. Okay, so for right now, you're going to write equations of lines. You can write an equation of a line if you are given any of the following. The slope, m, the y-intercept, b, and that's when you have a format of y equals m times x plus b, which is called slope-intercept form, where m is your slope, and it's only the number in front of x, the leading coefficient of x, or the coefficient of x, and the b is the y-intercept. You've heard of this before in Algebra 1. Okay, so what is b? Well, I suggest that you maybe draw something like this, knowing that the y-axis is the vertical axis, and what b is where it crosses that line. It could be down here, could be up here, could be anywhere, but that's what b is. It's where it crosses the vertical y-axis. You can also write the equation of a line if you're given the slope m and the coordinates of a point on the line x1, y1. And then the third way that you can write the equation of a line is if you're given the coordinates of 2 points that lie on the line, like x1, y1 and x2, y2. All right, and remember, what is slope? Slope is like the stairs it takes to get somewhere. That's what it's about. Going up and over, up and over, up and over, or down and over, down and over. So sometimes the stairs go downhill. Remember slope man? So it's a constant rate of change. If m is the slope of a line and b is the y-intercept and x1, y1 is a point on the line, then we can do the following. The slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M times x plus b. B is the y-intercept, m is the slope. The point-slope form of the equation of a line is y minus y1 equals m times x minus n1, x1, not n. Does anybody need this still? Okay. Write an equation and point a slope-intercept form of the slope of 2, negative 2, and a y-intercept of 4. So that would make your m be negative 2 and your b be 4, which is written right here. The slope-intercept form would be y equals negative 2 times x plus 4. That's how hard that is. Not very. Okay? You pop in the numbers. Woo. Write an equation with a slope of negative 3/4 and a point on the line of 1. So the x1 is 8, the y1 is 1. You put it into the formula. We'll replace the m with a negative 3/4. So it's going to be y minus, the y1 is 1, equals negative 3/4 parentheses times x minus the 8, which is the x1. So basically, we're just making a bunch of substitutions. And I'm just leaving it alone right now. We will be simplifying them later. So quick, we're going to fly through these because this is super easy. You're going to replace the m with the number they tell you to put in for m. You're going to place the b with the number they tell you to put in for b. So it's going to be y equals 2x minus 3. You can write plus negative 3, but it's not necessary. I think that's simpler. Next one, y equals negative 1/2 times x plus 4. All I'm doing is replacing the formula m and b. Third one, y equals 1/4 times x plus 5. And then the fourth one, y equals 0 times x minus 2. But what should I simplify that to? If we got 0 times x, you're not going to leave it like that. You should rewrite it as y equals negative 2. Okay? Now, this would be the graph of a horizontal line. Y equals negative 2 is a horizontal line. All right, next. Write an equation in point-slope form of the line having the given slope that contains the given point. Tiny bit more difficult, but I hope not much. X1 is a 3, Y1 is a negative 1. We're going to pop in 3 over here where the X1 is. We're going to pop in negative 1 here where the Y is. So Y minus negative 1 equals 1/2 times X minus 3. I am not going to allow you to leave it like that, though. You need to simplify it. Okay? What happens when you subtract a negative? At least do that for me right now. So it'd be y plus 1 equals 1/2 parentheses x minus 3. All right. This is your x1, y1. We're going to do y minus negative 2. And if you already know how to simplify that, you might as well go ahead and do it. That's up to you. And then put in negative 2 for the m. For the x1, we put in 4, so that's going to be x minus 4 in parentheses. And then again, I'm going to fix this. Be y plus 2. And then later on today, we will be continuing this on and distributing and simplifying. All right, so our next one, y minus 3 equals negative 1 times x. Can I just write plus 1 right away? I know some of you would get that, but since I am plugging in right now, I'm going to go ahead and not do that. It's like in my nature to do that because I want to simplify it right away. And then that's what it would have been. Y minus 3 is equal to negative 1 times x plus 1. Okay, now granted we can do more to these, but right now all we're doing is practicing filling it in. Okay, so you got 3 more. Maybe you can try to get through them and see if you do them right before I do, please. And if you even have for your first step this, that would be great. But it does need to be simplified to this. Okay, let's see. We've got a x1 of 0 on this one. We're definitely going to have some simplifying to do. Okay, because on this right side, when you multiply, well, you subtract 0, you can get rid of that. So the final answer for this one, I would have at least y plus 3 equals negative 5/2 times x. Did anybody already try 10? Yeah. What happened? What happens to that right side? Well, that 0 is going to wipe that whole right side out, isn't it? So we're going to have y minus 5 equals 0, and then you really should finish it off by add 5 and say y equals 5. And that's going to be, again, a horizontal line. Oops. I don't know why it came out weird at the end there. Okay, so we just started looking at how to write equations of lines. We're going to continue with that in the next 10 minutes. But first, we're going to look at some applications of linear applications. Linear applications we use to model situations. Now, there's many of them. I'm going to give you a real simple one that I think that as sophomores you may, or some of you juniors, if as students, period, or your age group, you might relate to. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that you would go home and graph your salary, but I want to, how many of you have jobs? Okay, several people, okay. So let's just say for simplicity, the minimum wage is $4.25 or $8.25. It's $8.25. I don't know, 4. Hey, guess what it was when I did my first job? I don't even want to tell you. $2.25. All right. So anyway, 0 would be the amount you'd start with if you didn't do any work, right? And let's say you got an hour. How much are you going to make? That would be the $8.25. Now, granted, that's the gross, not with tax taken out. Then after 2 hours, how much would you make? $16.50. Okay, and then after 3 hours, you're going to make $24.75. Okay, you don't have to graph this. You don't have to do this at all. I'm just trying to make a point. This is a linear. Okay, it's a linear because it's got a constant rate of change. Okay, that's what a linear equation does. It goes up by a constant increment. That's the slope. The $8.25 an hour is your rate. It's your slope. It goes up every goes up $8.25 for every dollar. Sorry, not dollar, for 1 hour. This would be the number of hours. Okay, so if you understand that, try to make a little sense of it. There's a lot of real-world situations that are linear. For example, if you got Donna who offers computer services to small companies in her city and she charges $55 a month for maintaining a website, and she also charges $45 an hour for each service call. Write an equation to represent the cost monthly that you're paying to maintain that website. So your cost is going to be 8 hours of service calls. If you're going to do hours, what's the rate up there? What are they charging per hour? That's the rate, okay? That's your slope. So that'd be 45H. But you also have to pay $55 a month. Oh, I thought I was. What happened? Oh, poopy. I'll just have to do it later. It's not that long. All right, 45. So it's 45 hours, though, dollars an hour. But you also have to pay this $55 a month. Okay, so we got to add on the $55 a month monthly fee. There's an equation for the cost to maintain your website. Now, it says Donna may change her cost to represent the equation 25H plus 125. Now, what's changed here? Well, two things have changed. Both things have changed. Which one's the fixed monthly fee? Is it the 125 or the 25? Okay, think about this one up here. You're getting 45 an hour. That's how much you're charging per hour. That's the rate. 55 was the monthly fee. So now that we changed the equation, it's now got a $125 fixed monthly fee. If you were thinking that, good job. For the website, and the cost per hour, that's the number that would multiply the hours, is the $25. All right, so now we're going to compare the new plan to the old one for a company that has 5.5 hours of service calls. Do you get to calculate on the calculators? All right, so go ahead and plug in. We're going to do 45 times 5.5 plus 55 for the first plan. And for the second plan, 25 times 5.5 plus 125. Okay, so how much was the first plan charging for those 5.5 hours in service charge? What was it? 302.50. Okay, guys, do the money. Show me the money. All right, then do 25 times 5.5 plus 125. 262. And then 50 cents. Okay, so initially, here's what students would do when I ask this question. Which is better? Does my question tell you what I mean? Which is better? What would you automatically pick? You're thinking about yourself, right? You're going to automatically pick the 262.50, right? It's not about you, though. It says what Thana would earn more by using, she's the business owner. So she wants to charge that one, right? Okay, so that's what I'm trying to point. Make sure you read the questions when they're going to be asked, so you know if you're answering it correctly. What I said wasn't good enough. I said which one's better. Well, to who, right? Got to be specific. So Donna would earn more with the first plan. Okay, now we're going to do a satellite television service. Man, satellite costs a lot. Well, all of the TV stuff costs a lot. Let's say they charge a flat rate of $34.95. That's a flat rate. That's like your y-intercept. Okay, that's your B value or whatever. And then they're going to charge an additional 10 per month. As soon as it says a per in there, that's going to be your M. Each premium channel. A competing satellite television service charges flat rate of $39.99, and they charge $8 per month for their premium channel. So we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form that models the total monthly cost for each satellite service, where P is the number of premium channels. So Jerry's current service has a slope of the 10, because it's charging $10 per premium channel. The basic fee is $34.95. So the cost of doing business with them is going to be 10p plus $34.95. Okay. The competing service is only charging $8 per premium channel, so that's going to be your slope of 8. But their basic fee is $39.99. So the cost for that one's going to be 8p plus $39.99. With it? Okay. Now, Jerry's current satellite service charges a flat rate of 30. We already have that. He wants to include 3 premium channels in their package. Which service would be less? Her current service or her competing? All right, so let's calculate the cost of 3 channels. So for the first current service, you'd have to do $10 times 3 plus the $34.95. That's going to be $30 plus $34.95 or $64.95. Cost with the competitor is going to be $8 times 3 plus the $39.99. Please calculate that for me. And of course, the competitor cost, right? Not by much. Not even $1. So I go with 1%. All right, Jerry's current satellite TV charges a flat rate of $36. Now we got a third company that charges a flat rate of $69. And we want to know if it's going to be better to go with them. That third company is $69. That's what I'm asking. But now we want to have 4 channels. we're going to need to calculate, it was $10 for the first plan, times 4, plus the 34.95. That'd be 40 plus 74.95. So you go without calculator. And then the other plan would be 8 times 4 plus the 39.99. 32, 71.99. Everybody, are all those companies turning up? Okay. Oh. What's the least expensive? Third company. All right, these lines, these graphs. Line M. Find the equation that's line. Okay, it's going downhill. So what type of slope should it have? Yeah, it should be negative. How's that guy moving? Down one, right one? Is that working? Yeah. Okay. It's got a slope of -1. So now you go in and say, well, where's the y-intercept? And I don't have to do it in this quarter. I just find first. That's right here, -4. So I just found out that the slope of the line is -1. And I found out that the y-intercept, or the b value, is -4. Now I can write the equation. This second equation is y equals -1x minus 4. Okay, how about line C? Okay, so I've got a y-intercept of -1, b is -1. And then I got to count that slope. Let me count that slope already. Sure one? Up to right one? Yeah, looks good. Here, up to right one. Yeah, every time it looks like up to right one. So y equals 2x minus. And then the last one, maybe you guys already looked, coming downhill, so it has a negative slope. Downhill, negative slope. Okay, how's that moving down? So from here, down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. Oh, there's my y-intercept. It's at 1. B is 1. The slope is -1/2. So y equals -1/2 x plus 1. Now, actually, I showed you on the graph for how you can put those equations in that y1. They look like lines have. Actually, good by 10. Alright, so your other page. No, you're not doing this homework. I changed it. So, what I did instead, I think that was a nice warm-up. Alright, so I already showed you how to do this. So basically, this is homework. I'm going to show you. Right, so anyway, you see how you can, you already told the slope. You're going to stick in the 2. You're going to find the y-intercept. And I thought it was hard to see them on here. See the axes, I think. Y. There's the x. That's at -1. So it might be good to darken these up if you're having trouble. You can do that. Alright, so we should be able to quick knock these out. be y equals negative 2x. Because the b 0. This one's going to be y equals 1/2 x. Alright, this one I want to simplify the answer this time. So remember how the last page, when we plugged them in, we didn't continue. We're going to go all the way to the y equals mx plus b form. Oh, sorry about that. I opened up one that was written on instead of... Okay, so let's plug in. My pen's going crazy. Oh my goodness. Having a mind of its own. All right, Eraser, settle down. All right, so here we got our x1, y1, and our m. Put the m of 5. Okay, put in your x1 here, negative 1. Put in your y1 of negative 3. And then simplify the. Okay, we got y minus negative 3, which would be y plus 3. And then I got 5 in the parentheses, x plus 1. And now I'm going to distribute. Get y plus 3 equals 5x plus 5. Now it would be one more step to get us where we want to go. We want y alone. Back. So that's because y equals 5x plus 3. That. Right. All right, so here's our y1. Let's put it in here. 4. Need an m, negative 3. Need an x1, 0. Y minus 4. And this is just negative 3 times x. Only one little thing left to do. And both sides. So you got negative 3x plus. Good. I don't think this is too bad. You? Right. X1, Y1. I don't like to. Why do we need this? 2 goes here. Negative 3/4. And 8 for x1. That is. So then I'll simplify. Now you have a calculator that can do this. It'll type negative 3 divided by 4 times negative 8. Negative 3 divided by 4. Just look like that. And you hit times negative 8. That's going to be a negative times a negative, so that'll be a positive 6. And then we'll just need to finish it by subtracting 2. It's going to be negative 3/4 times x plus 4. Oh, I don't know how I did that. Of course you would add 2. I think you're saying something. I'm really, really tired of my back. I'm sorry. I just started spacing it. Anybody else have an 8 already? No? Like, Add 2. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I'll put in 4 here. Negative 5 over here. And negative 1/2 goes there. Too many arrows. So I'm going to write y plus 5 equals negative 1/2 times x. And what would be negative times negative would be positive. Half of 4 is 2. This time we're going to have to subtract 5 from both sides. That's going to give me negative 1/2 x. 2 minus 5 would be negative 3. I don't like how they wrote plus there, but whatever. It's all right if you have plus and negative, but I would usually write just minus 3 at the end.